So we'll start on our backs this morning, and I'd like to do a little warm up with the core and deep abdominal muscles. So find a nice place where the body can just really extend for a few seconds. Letting the eyes close and bringing awareness inside. And shifting around so that you feel the points of contact with the ground. Maybe taking the hands to the belly for a few breaths and just feeling the quality of the breath this morning. Feeling the quality of the energy. Waning full wolf moon, which is really bright all night long. Maybe influencing sleep and dreams. Gently release the chin toward the collarbone to elongate the bones in the back of the neck. And then let the head come back to an easy resting position. Let's take several rounds of breath here. You can release the hands open to the floor, feeling the Ujjayi pranayama. Breath resonating on the back of the throat as it comes in deeply to the lungs. And let the supine position open the chest and the heart, the upper lungs under the collarbone. So that the breath is as deep but as easy as it can be. And settling in perhaps this morning to sankalpa, which is simply an intention or idea that you might have for the practice. Coming right up on midwinter and that time of year when many cultures recognize it as the very, very beginning of spring. Shifting to the second half of winter, feeling the light come back, the sun reach higher in the sky. And as we breathe, feel how that time, this particular place and time, resonates in us. And then on the next breath in, draw in one knee toward the chest, whichever you like. Interlace the hands right at the top of the shin and do an easy opening of the hip here. Drawing the knee in the direction of the shoulder, extending the opposite leg away. Maybe taking some ankle circles with the bent leg. And then on an exhale, let that leg lift. We'll come into Supta Padangusthasana. On an inhale, take the head and the shoulders up, interlace the fingers behind the calf. And on an exhale, draw the nose toward the knee, extending opposite leg. Gently releasing navel toward the spine. Feeling the position of the lumbar, the low back reach down onto the floor. Beginning to work the outer abdominals, upper chest, head and neck. And then on an exhale, take the body to the floor, leave the leg up, reach up with the same hand as the extended leg, take the opposite arm out to a T, and then just gently open the leg to the side. You can capture that leg with a block or release it to the floor with deep exhales, open through the front of the hips. Breathe into the opening in the chest. You can turn the head away from the leg. Deep, steady breath. And then on an inhale, draw the leg back up. Release the hand and take a nice slow exhale with that leg down to the floor. Next inhale, opposite leg draws in, knee towards shoulder, interlacing the fingers at the top of the shin. Half Apanasana. And again, taking some ankle circles with the bent leg. Can play with releasing chin toward collarbone, feeling the back of the neck open and extend, and then soften. Just to get a little movement and elongation through the bones of the neck. Notice in this pose where the hips are giving the awareness of some sensation. Deepen breath, soften legs, open into that space. And on an exhale, let the bent leg lift to straight. You can flex through the ball mounds of the foot. Interlace the hands behind the calf. On an out breath, draw the nose in toward the knee. Notice how that immediately engages the outer abdominals. Gently work to direct navel down toward the spine, toward the ground. And keep it soft. Keep the tension that may want to come into the shoulders away. So let the upper body be soft. Feel the engagement through the core. On an exhale, let the spine release back to the ground. Interlace. You can either grab the ankle or interlace first two fingers and thumb around the large toe of the extended leg. Open that leg to the side. Direct the gaze away. Breathe into hips, front of hip. Feel the shoulder blades on the ground. Deep, steady, even breath here. You can turn the gaze away from the extended leg. Yeah, nice. Work the opposite hip gently back toward the ground if you feel it starting to pull away. So there's a little bit of dynamic tension there. And then on an in-breath, draw the leg back up. Release the hand. Exhale it down to the floor. And then inhale, both knees in toward the chest. Take a little roll around on the lower spine. And then keeping the knees bent, we'll bring the lower legs parallel to the floor, aligning knee and hip. Keeping the feet about hip width apart, so there may be 6 or at the most 8 inches away from each other, depending how your hips are. Interlace the fingers behind the head and gently lift the head and shoulders off the ground. You'll feel the spine nice and steady on the ground, and already can feel some of that deeper abdominal work beginning to happen. On an exhale, we'll extend the right leg out, point through the ball mound, hold, and then drop navel and lift coccyx on this holding out. Release and inhale, bent leg back. Exhale, left leg out, press through the ball mound. Release navel to ground, lift coccyx. Feel that deep abdominal work. And then on an in-breath, draw the left leg back in. Next round, exhale out, press through ball mound of right leg, drop navel to spine, lift coccyx, feel the depth. Inhale back, and then exhale, left leg out. Release navel toward the ground, strongly draw up the coccyx, and then inhale back. Exhale, release. Take the arms to the side and shift the knees side to side. Soften through the belly. Deep, steady, even breath. The end of the next exhalation, turn to one side into an easy fetal position. Extend the legs nice and straight and come up. You can hold your head in one hand and brace with the opposite hand in front. And on an in-breath, lift the top leg and hold. Exhale, release. Lift and hold, reaching up, feeling the outside of the thigh extend. Exhale, release. 2 more rounds, inhaling up. Exhale. And 1 more, inhale up. And exhale down. Nice. Next exhalation, extend that top leg front. Turn the sole of the foot as much as possible to the ground so you've got a nice kind of 90-degree angle going. And then roll over onto the belly. Reach with the hands. Breathe. Feel the straight leg, the one that isn't extended, roll over onto the top of the thigh. Bring chest and forehead to the ground. Nice. And then on an inhalation, gently come back and we'll shift to the opposite side. Coming into that side lying position, taking the head in the hand. And then on an in-breath, lift top leg, really working the outer thigh. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then inhale up. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale up, reaching. Exhale down and then extend. Next exhale, leg out. Roll the foot so that as much as possible it's reaching toward the ground. Then let the body roll over. Reach and extend. Drop crown and forehead to the ground. Breathe under the armpits. Nice, deep, steady breath. On an inhalation, slide the body back to the side. Draw the leg back on top. Turn over. Take the knees wide. Come into an easy child's pose. Reaching long, extending head in between the upper arms. Nice, deep, steady breath here. Taking now the breath into the back side of the body. Fill the back lungs. And again, feel that resonance of breath coming in to the throat. Bathe the throat with breath. On an inhalation, come up to table pose. Spread the fingers. Align the knees at hip width and flow right into Marjariasana, waking up the spine. Drawing awareness in, feeling space in between the intention to move and the movement itself. So let the mind fully release itself into awareness of the body. Let there be a sense of knowing before moving. A little moment of stopping before starting. And then on an exhale, take the knees wide and open the hips with some nice hip circles. Reaching long. You can get the shoulders and the elbows into that movement. Doesn't need to look any particular way, just getting joints moving in the morning, wrists. And then come back to this neutral position. We're going to gently do a little wrist work. Take the hand, press the palm side forward, fingertips back toward the body, and just gently, without a lot of strain, let that open a little bit. Breathing here. Yeah, nice. And then gently turn, palms back. And prepare for downward facing dog. Curling toes under. On an out breath, lift the shins away. Taking the gaze in between the hands, fingers spread nice and wide. Eyes of the elbows toward each other. Nice strong curl to the toes. On an exhale, draw the hips back and up. You can keep knees soft. Let the first dog be a moment to find the architecture and the alignment here. Feel the lines. Crown of head, up the back of the spine to the hips, and then down the legs. You work one heel down at a time. Again, working more of the weight over hips and legs. Good place to open the mouth really wide. And take some in breaths through the nose and some out breaths through the mouth. Close the eyes really tightly. Open them wide and then close them again and open them wide. Maybe direct the gaze up, down, into the sides of the eyes, getting them awake and clear. And then on an exhale, we'll step the feet and the hands together and come into a squat. So on the toes, we'll bring the feet together, draw the knees together, come into an easy squat. Feeling the toes, draw the knees forward as you press into the toes, opening the bottoms of the foot. And then find a nice steady gaze. Take the hands together. And then exhale, both hands down, and gently turn to one side into the twist. Take the hand and take a little wrap in a bind. Much as possible, directing the knees forward. Finding a drishti. Finding steadiness. Finding balance. If you like, you can release on an in-breath. Take the arm out to the side and then extend and open it behind. Feel the scapula bone on the extended arm gently drawing in toward the heart, toward the chest. And then on an exhale, come back to center line. Nice, yeah. And same thing, second side. Gently working, twist. Free arm is going to snake around. Reach toward the opposite thigh. Balance with the feet, the toes. Nice, deep, steady breath. Let the arm reach out, can stay here, or extend behind, opening that whole side of the upper chest. And again, feeling scapula point on the extended arm side, pressing in toward the heart. On an exhale, coming back to center, and then press into an easy forward fold. The feet can come apart. Let the knees be soft. Shake the head out. You can interlace the hands and bring them right to the back of the skull, to the occiput, bending the knees. And let the weight of the hands and arms draw the head and neck into an easy traction. Draw navel in towards spine. And then release into the fold. Again, the knees soft. Feel on an exhale, torso release over legs. Grounding with the ball mounds of each large toe, spreading them out. Feeling for the sensation, softening any tension in the upper body. Shaking the head. And then let the knees bend. Slowly, easily rolling up. All the way to standing Urdhva Hastasana. Arms extend up overhead. And then exhale down, Samastitihi. On an in-breath, we'll take Surya Namaskara A, reaching and extending up. Exhaling down into the forward fold. Inhaling to gaze up, nice long spine. Exhale into plank. Release all the way to the floor. Inhale up for cobra. Nice. Exhale back. Downward dog, or at any point, child's pose. Whatever feels good. Forward fold. Make the practice yours. Adapting, modifying anything and everything that we're doing. Especially if you're working with any sensitivities or healing injuries. Take care with the body. The end of the next exhalation, let the feet and the hands step together. Inhale, strong gaze up. Ground the feet on the exhale into the fold. And then nice soft knees, rolling up. Inhale up. And exhale, Samastitihi. Second round, inhaling up, Surya Namaskara A. Exhale, diving out, forward fold. Inhale to gaze up. Exhale back to plank. Draw chest and shoulders through. Release all the way down or into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep, easy, steady breath. Waking the backs of the legs. Spreading the fingers, taking the weight throughout the hand. Feeling the center of the palm gently lift. Breathe up through the back, opening back to the lungs. Deep, steady, even ujjayi. And then on an exhale, stepping feet to hands. Take an inhale up halfway. Exhale into the fold. This time, dive out to rise up to standing. And exhale. Equal standing, Samastadahi. Next inhale, Surya Namaskar B. Squeeze the knees together, Utkatasana. Exhale into the forward fold. Inhale to gaze up. Exhale back to plank. Releasing down. Up dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Turning left foot out to anchor, stepping through warrior one. Rising up. Reaching long down to the ground. Through chaturanga. Up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Anchor right. Step through left. Warrior one. And flow back through plank. Up dog. And down dog. Deep, steady, even breath. And again, feel the shape. Crown of head reaching toward the ground. Gentle pressing away, hands, arms, hips lift and reach back. Soft backs of knees. Soft eyes at the elbows. Body opens. Prana flows through. The end of the next exhale, we're going to step right foot to the hands for high lunge. Curling the back toes under and gently rising up. Holding here. Finding a nice steady gaze, and then on an in-breath, opening the arms. Reaching behind, interlace. Pose can stay right here, or on an exhale, gently take it forward. Lift the arms, gaze toward the front toes. Deep, steady, even breath. On an exhalation, left hand comes down to a block or to the floor inside of the front foot, right next. And then gently turn toward the bent leg, drawing that hip crease in, revolve. Hand can stay down, or on an in-breath, rise up into the twist. Deep opening, steady breath. On an exhale, you can either vinyasa through or just switch kick to the opposite side. And find high lunge, second side. Steady the pose, rise up, steady the gaze. On an inhale, open the arms, interlace, squeeze together scapulas, hold here, or on an out breath, Come into the bow, gently lifting arms up. Draw navel in. Feel that nice engagement through the core. And an exhale, this time left hand comes to block or floor. Gently turn toward the bent leg, drawing hip crease in. Lift the free arm, nice. Feel that twist. Feel the scapula of the top arm reaching that point toward the chest. Beautiful. On an exhale, top arm comes down. And again, you can forward fold or vinyasa. And then on the next exhalation, right foot steps to both hands. Turn wide into a nice, easy, wide-legged forward fold. Let the body melt. Let the forearms come to the ground. Soften the knees. Draw the crown of the head down. Deep, easy breath. Open the backs of the legs. And play with the amount of space you have in between the legs. Gently opening medial leg lines. Feeling that energy rise up from the ground into the feet, through the legs, right up through the torso, head, back down, feeling that circuit. On an inhalation, take the gaze up halfway. Exhale. Draw the knees a little bit closer, legs a little bit closer. Gently rise up. Open out into 5-pointed star. And we'll take triangle pose, turning right toes out, kicking left heel back. Just feeling nice and grounded. Inner rotation with the back leg thigh, outer rotation, front leg thigh. And then as you're ready, reaching long with the right. When the extension feels full, let the body turn. Long underside of torso, stacking shoulders, free arm lifts, or can come to the hip. Beautiful, deep, steady, even breath. Nice. Warming the body to counter the cold. You're going to turn the back foot into a little grip with the toes. So turning the toes under. And we'll take galloping horse, working the hips toward the front knee and the straight as they possibly can be. Dropping the sacrum and lifting first up out of the torso. So feel a strong base and a nice tension-free lift to the upper body. And then at an exhale, let that body come about halfway in between front leg and upright. Next inhale, reach the arms out. Nice long extension. Reach back, heel back. Deep, steady, even breath. Nice. On an exhale, take both hands down. Either come into easy forward fold or you can flow through the vinyasa. And then stepping right foot to the hands. Working around wide-legged. Setting up Parsarita Padottanasana. We'll take D pose. First two fingers and thumb. And circle each large toe. Exhale. Top of head releases. Nice, deep, steady, even breath. On an inhale, as the body's ready, extend nice and long, halfway up through the spine. Again, soften the knees, maybe draw the feet in a little bit. Roll up to standing on the in-breath. And then open nice, out into five-pointed star. We'll take triangle pose, second side. Left toes turning out, right heel kicking back. And finding that alignment can be heel to heel, or straight leg, front leg, heel to center of the back leg arch. And then as you're ready, extend nice and long, reaching. Underside of torso extends. Hand lifts. Steady gaze. Strong rotations of thighs. Nice. Beautiful, easy breath. And then turning the body, curling toes of the back leg under, bending through front thigh, rising up, and again, finding for galloping horse, working hips as much as possible to square, feeling that openness through the front hip flexor, lifting torso. When you feel like you've got a nice, easy lift upper body, strong base, drop halfway forward, in between leg and being upright. Extend the arms, reach back with the heel. Nice, deep, steady breath. Draw the navel in. Reaching long. Beautiful. On an exhale, forward fold or vinyasa. And stepping forward, with whichever leg you like, foot to hands. We're going to swing around one more time, wide-legged forward fold. And again, finding that distance between the feet, that's not right at the edge and not a place where you feel like you can't stay. On an exhale, take whatever variation you like here, interlacing the hands or drawing them through the legs, taking palms to the floor. Lift the shoulders away from the ears. Draw the navel in. On an inhale, gaze up halfway. And then gently draw the feet together. We'll take fierce or goddess pose. Direct the toes out to the corners of the mat. Come up halfway, take the hands to the legs and just pressure, a little bit of pressure on the thighs. You can shift a bit side to side. And then check that knees are directing themselves over the toes. Toes can be aligned pretty much, depending on where your mat is, with the edges of your mat. And then on an in-breath, coming into fierce pose. Nice deep breaths here. On an inhale, take the arms overhead, interlace, sink into the thighs, reach up. Beautiful, nice. And then on an in-breath, slowly come to standing. Let the arms release down. Toe heel the feet together. And come into a little transition. Soft focusing the eyes. And then we'll come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. As you're ready, stepping with the right foot forward. And then release the body as the front of the body as the back leg rises. And take both hands to the ground, and this can be the pose. Right here. Rotating extended leg thigh medially toward the standing leg, inward. Pressing through the ball mound of the foot. Or open, if you like, into the full expression of the pose, hand to hip, or hand reaching to sky. On the exhale, take the top hand down. Inhale, drop the nose toward the knee, lift the leg. Easy split. And then exhale back with the extended leg. And we're going to come into pigeon. And you can come in either from down dog or from table pose. We'll come through with the right leg first. So if you're in dog, let right knee find its way behind the right wrist. And you might want to get a block to prop the right hip. Or if you're in table, slide right knee behind right wrist. And then extend long with the back of the leg. Yeah. On an exhale, reach toward the ground with the bent leg hip, or support the bent leg hip with a block. So it's got a little bit of a surface underneath it. Exhale, bow the head. Deep, steady, even breath. Breathe into the hip. Feel the places where breath wants to come. Feel the sensation in the hip. Let the body soften into it. Release, holding in the shoulders, holding in the face. Very slowly on an inhalation, draw the head up. Rise up with the torso. Yeah. And then gently come out of the pose. You can take some little cat steps, lifting the hands and the feet off the floor. And easy dog, you can take a vinyasa, hip circles. And then when you're ready, gently draw the hands toward the feet. Bend the knees, rise up through standing. Inhale up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale back down, Samastitihi, equal standing. And then we'll take the same sequence to the second side. Ardha Chandrasana. This time stepping through left leg. Release, body forward, extend the left leg back. Pose can be right here. Gently working a rotation downward, inward of the extended leg thigh. Grounding through that standing leg. And release hand. And then extend down. Come into an easy lifting of the leg and head toward the knee. And then extend the top leg back. And we'll come into pigeon on the second side. And again, coming in however it feels best, either from table, left knee finds its way behind left wrist, or coming in from downward facing dog. Extended leg, again, rotates inward, rotates medially. Prop the outside of the bent leg hip. Release. Soften torso. Breathe into hips, into those spaces. Waking up the hips in the morning. Lubricating that joint. Extending the spine here. Feeling its length. Reaching toward the ground with the bent leg hip. Release. And then very slowly, gently rising up. Extend up in the seat. Swing the leg around. And this time we'll come into table, or you can take a vinyasa and into down dog, whichever you like. You can take some hip circles here, releasing the low spine. And reversing that if you're doing the hip circles. If you're coming through a vinyasa, we'll come into a seated position. And again, if you like to prop your hips a little bit, maybe roll the mat up, give the hips a little support, or you can sit on a block. We're going to take a wide-legged Baddha Konasana. wide knee, soles of the feet together. And then feel a gentle drawing inward of the navel, a rotation of the pelvis forward. Forearms can rest on the lower legs. Draw the navel in. On an out breath, we're going to start with a kind of concave extension of the spine. So really draw navel in strongly. Spread the scapulas, reach long through the spine. Release the crown of the head toward the ground. You can take your thumbs here and give the inner arches of the feet, which are the top side arches in this pose, a really nice massage. Just draw the thumbs right alongside of them. Really nice for the spine. It's the place in foot reflexology that corresponds to the spine and the body. And again, release navel spine-wise. And then let the back soften. Breathe open, upper thighs. Nice. On an in-breath, gently draw up. You can release away if you're sitting on part of your mat. We'll take a boat pose before coming down to the floor. So draw the knees in toward the chest. Release the shoulders down. And on an exhale, extend the legs up. You can hold right onto the legs. Spread the toes. Or if you like, release. Lift the arms, reach up. Nice, steady, even breath, working again abdominal muscles deeply. And then on an exhale, let the body come to the ground. You can take a little spinal rock if you like. And when you find your way to the ground, come into a nice extension. Arms overhead, feet drawing away. And we'll come into bridge pose, taking the feet to the floor, bending the knees. Again, feet are hip width, very common structural alignment in yoga. And then let the hands come in between heels and hips to get the spacing that you want in between those 2 points. And take them away. As you're ready, on an exhale, feel the center of the body lift up and draw the thighs forward. Drive them forward. Feel weight come into the feet. Interlace the hands underneath. Draw the scapulas together. Feel the chest open and lift. You can take the gaze to the belly, watching it rise and fall with the deep breathing here. Very, very strong legs. Draw the knees toward each other. Their tendency may be to draw away from each other. Draw them in, inner leg lines magnetized. Really strong pose. And then on an exhale, top of spine, middle of spine, base of spine releases to the ground. Take the arms out to a T, feet at least as far apart as the edges of the mat. So feet to the edges of the mat. On an exhale, release both knees to the ground to the left and draw the right knee intentionally strongly to the ground. Feel that whole extension through the right side of the body. Soft torso, soft scapulas. And then on an inhale, come through center line. And exhale to the right, releasing this time more strongly, left knee to the ground. Feeling that opening through the iliotibial band on the left leg, that's outside band at the top of the thigh. Scapula's on the ground, released. And then inhale back. Draw knees into chest. And then let the legs rise. And depending on the time you have, if you are feeling like you'd like to end class in a Viparita Karani, which is this pose, legs on the wall, with an actual wall, you can find a wall. Let's take your body over to it. And as you get up to the wall, simply make sure that the base of the pelvis is connected. So that lower body will need to be connected to the wall. Easiest way to do that is to lie down parallel to the wall on the back and then shift the back of the hips toward it. And you can stay right there as long as you like, or if you like, flow with us back up to seated. But for right now, we'll take a few more breaths with legs just releasing, energy pooling back toward the abdomen where we began. And now softening the belly, releasing Uddiyana Bandha. And out breath, you can separate the legs and you can shift them side to side or come into blissful baby, reaching the arms up through the interior leg, taking hold of the large toes. You can rock side to side, opening medial leg lines. And then on an exhale, let the knees come together. Turn over onto the side. Take one full round of breath here. And then on an exhale, pressing up to an easy seat. And spending a few minutes being with the body, maybe counting back from 10 so that the mind stays away from thinking about the next thing. And keep the awareness, that space in between actions, even a space in between each breath. Attention is an art. It's something that humans, most of us, don't naturally do with ease. And yet the breath is maybe one of the great gifts in that work, if we can simply remember now and again to come back to it, to be aware that we breathe, to find space in the moments, to find body awareness even when we are deeply focused on something outside of us, connecting with that internal breath rhythm. And where we find ourselves a few days away from imbolc, right in the heart, the center of yet another transition, spring on the horizon. And an exhale, let the palms come together. And returning to the thought of sankalpa, whatever attention perhaps arose, or maybe it didn't at the beginning. If there's an intention now, a place where maybe energy would like to be directed, let that come into the body, mind, and spirit. And we'll close with a Shanti Om Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Awesome practice. Have a great Friday, end of January.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah, thank you. So nice to see everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, Mary.
Good to be here again. Thank you.
George, thank you. Great to see you.
Well, cold here.
Stay warm.
It's a little cold.
know.
Old and aged.
Freezing.
Yeah, I think our winters have I don't know, maybe I just feel like I notice a pattern. They gear up as it gets to midwinter now these days.
Yeah, I got 2 stoves going.
Yeah.
It doesn't do the job. Oh, well.
Enjoy the weekend, cozy up, bundle up.
You, Ann.
Thank
So-
you, Ann.
Yeah.